Hello, everyone. Welcome to an Exponentialized Live. It has been a little while. It's nice to see you all. And I'm going to be talking today a little bit about dyslexia. So, first of all, what is dyslexia? Dyslexia shows up differently for lots of different people. Sometimes it can be verbal, sometimes it can be written, sometimes, it shows up in lots of different ways, and it can show up like in people's spelling. So there's lots of different ways that dyslexia manifests, but one of the ways that I know it manifests for me is there are like certain words that they sound the same, like for example, where you have were, and it's like there are many different ways of actually spelling were. It makes no sense to me because I spell from like the energy of a word. So when I hear a word, it's like it matches a certain energy. And the only way that I can remember the spelling is if I attach that spelling to the meaning of the word, like the energy of the word. So, for example, I know that when it's spelled THEIR for there, it's like that's talking about something that belongs to someone. And that's how I learned to differentiate between, there as in it's theirs and there as in like over there. So that's a way that I'm dyslexic. And some people will, for example, be writing out a word and they'll miss a letter, or it's like it's spelt with a it's supposed to be spelt with an S but they spell it with an X or something like that. So that's one of the other ways. And then in terms of like reading, it can also be where the words will appear to be like jumbled or back to front for some people who are dyslexic. And there are lots of different tricks that you can actually use to have more ease with it. So one of them is to read backwards. Sounds funny, but it works. And essentially what dyslexia actually is, when we're looking at it from the point of view of, Access Consciousness and the X-Men body of work, is that it's actually a set of implants. So implants are things that we've been implanted with over time, and they are basically become part of how we create our life. So for example, you can get implanted by a song because you hear it maybe even only once, but it's a really catchy tune, and then you hear it over and over and over and over and over and over again until it's like it becomes part of what part of your reality. So that's how the implants and explants work. And in the X-Men classes, we do actually run the process for undoing some of these implants and explants. For example, dyslexia, and actually the next 2-day X-Men class starts tomorrow night. I'm very excited about it. Then we have a few languages coming along: Spanish, we have German and Mandarin. So it should be lots of fun. But yeah, so that's one of the ways that we can actually get rid of the implants of dyslexia. And basically what they were put in place was so that you would have a universal translating system so that you could translate all languages, which when you look at it is kind of funny because it's like, how many of you have energy as your first language and are actually able to understand what someone is saying, even if it's not cognitive, but from an energetic place, you get what they're talking about. So that's like, that's actually an ability to have a, certain transliterate capacity with languages based on the language of energy. And the dyslexia implant was something that was designed to actually give you that ability. the thing is, you have that ability, and when you remove the dyslexia implants, you can actually have a greater capacity with that ability. So it's pretty cool stuff, really. And yeah, I know for a lot of people as well that have this going on, it's like they have a lot of judgment of themselves for being stupid. Okay, so let's do this. So everywhere that you've judged yourself as stupid or less than or inadequate, based on your awareness of the language of energy and a different reality, so everything that is, we destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So that's the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement for anyone who's watching this later, and you can find more about it on theclearingstatement.com, but most of you guys would have heard it before. And so, yeah, what we're really looking at here with this is actually a capacity that you have. Okay, so with the X-Men classes, with the X-Men body of work, everything that you've considered is a wrongness about you is actually a strongness about you. And this is one of the examples, okay? So a lot of people also don't want to give this one in particular up, this particular implant up, because it's something that actually was designed to give you a capacity. But your capacity will be far greater without this implant. So I hope this is something that contributed to you, and let me know what it is for you guys. Like, what, how does dyslexia show up in your life, and what are some of the ways that you've used to create with it or work around it? I'd love to hear about what you know as well. So that's it for me. Yeah, if you want to come and play on the disabilities or abilities class, where we'll be talking about this and many more topics, sulwynjones.com is the place to go, and I'll show you the manual because it's awesome and it's one of my favorite classes. Yeah, many of you have been to this class on here, and some of you have been probably more than once and more than twice, but if you've never been, come and play. We start tomorrow night. And I'll be back next week for another Exponentialized Live. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.